was when we won the Fifth Avenue Awards for Best Chorus and Best Hair and Makeup for Adam's Family. So that was good.
My favorite memory is definitely, if you've been around long enough, you know about the Edward epidemic, and that's when me and Marshall Elliott, we were always on the search for Edward. And so that's definitely my favorite memory. I love GP Theater, and it's been the best decision I made in my high school career to be part of it.
My favorite memory was opening night. The curtain drops, and we're all really excited. And I hugged Frey, and we're both crying in a tiny puddle because he's just done all this shows since freshman year together. It's just crazy to think that this is it. But I'm so happy I got to spend it with everybody who's part of this cast. So thank you everybody for the wonderful experience.
My favorite memory is probably closing night of Beauty and the Beast. It was my first closing night as a cast member, and I was bawling because I didn't want to see all of the seniors leave, and I think the same thing's going to happen tonight.
My favorite memory will have to be when me, Griffin Price, Leif Griffin, and a couple other friends just goofed around and got yelled at.
My favorite memory was getting to be a silly girl in Beauty and the Beast.
My favorite memory of my whole experience in theater was during the Nerd. I was doing props, as I've done for most of the shows. And so there's a scene where they have to put sugar in their tea, and there's brown sugar, which is because they put sand and sugar in their tea because they're trying to scare away one of the dudes. And so we had brown sugar and normal sugar, but that rehearsal we had run out of sugar. And so instead of sugar, we used salt. But it wasn't actually salt, it was substitute salt, so it literally tasted like acid and it was disgusting. And so for one of the bowls, we just put that in there, but the other bowl, we put food coloring and the artificial salt to make it look like the brown sugar. And so it looked exactly like brown sugar and sugar, and only Chanel knew. So she puts it on this little tray and she goes out. It's just
Where?
So it wasn't during an actual show, which is good. But she goes out with this little tray, and everyone sits around. There's Leif and Griffin and Miles, and they all put huge scoops of this stuff into their tea, which is just apple juice. So they are mixing this gross, disgusting salt that had just a little bit, maybe gag, into these cups of apple juice, and then they take a sip, and Miles Kendall, he's trying to stay in character, he's trying so hard, and the entire cast and tech is behind the stage, looking through this little hole to see them react because everyone knew about it besides the actors on stage. And so then Leif takes his sip and he stands up and he's like, "This is salt!" And then I didn't get in trouble, he got in trouble because Taze was like, "Stay in character." And so yeah, that's it. But Chanel didn't even put any in hers because she knew about it. So that's my story.
And my favorite memory is when I did special effects for Romeo and Juliet, and Baylor Blair's blood pack exploded on closing night.
My favorite memory is being a part of the tenors because we get to be on the top. Basically the best.
My favorite memory is picking up Carol after every show and her desperately wanting to get down every time.
My favorite memory from this musical so far has been I bring an apple to practice every day, and everyone always asks to take a bite of the apple, and so I started filming each bite from a different person. So I started running up to different people and holding an apple in their face until they bit it, and it's been really fun.
For the preview show, when the whole cast came out and doing the after credits jazz rendition of Out There.
My favorite memory is the ongoing slew of Capri Sun drinking we have in the pit, and our ultimate goal to beat the number we drank in total in years past.
And my favorite memories are being in all the cuddle puddles during all of the shows. It's super fun. And also opening night of Tarzan. The minute we got on stage, it was the biggest applause I'd ever heard, and I almost cried because it was just so beautiful.
My favorite memory is when Shelby told me I was set lead, and she screamed and gave me a hug. It was awesome.
And my favorite memory was Tarzan. During Tarzan, we made up a system called Porter Points, where the expedition crew would slowly be killed off one by one if they didn't serve Porter, aka Kyle Garrett, with basically everything they had. I won, and that's why it's my favorite memory, because I survived the Porter apocalypse.
My favorite memory was when I got to run around with Sarah's open knife.
My favorite
theater memory is probably during Beauty and the Beast my sophomore year, when during a pickup rehearsal the whole cast replaced Gaston's name with my name as they were singing it on stage.
Favorite memory was my first show, Romeo and Juliet, the end of Tech Week. It was me and a couple girls, and I was really afraid because I didn't know that I was going to be accepted into the drama club, and we all had a dance party, and it was fantastic. That's my favorite memory, the dance party.
Definitely my favorite memory has been asking Mairead out to prom this year.
And one of my favorite memories is during an improv game. These cards were passed out and we partnered up, and I partnered up with Griffin Price, who at the time I didn't know very well. And I was completely flustered. And so we wrote down all these things. He wrote all these amazing things about me, and I didn't even know the guy. I wrote the words spontaneous, his last name, the word words, and the letter V. And after hearing all the awesome stuff that he said about me, I wrote, it stands for volcano, because those words are hot fire. And then he proceeded to write down on his card one last word, which said savage. And we've been friends ever since.
With everyone doing makeup and just hanging out in the black box.
And my favorite memory was when we all went backstage and made a big cuddle puddle.
I have so many favorite memories. I think some of my favorite memories are like during the Nerd, I was able to go up into the catwalks and just like watch a show almost every single night. And then Beauty and the Beast, there's so many fun quick changes. Like stressful but like fun. Oh my gosh, I know my favorite memory. It was we swapped out, like we put substitution salt instead of sugar during the Nerd, and like Miles like put it in his tea, like a bunch of it, and he drank it, and it was so funny. But also just like going to the Applebee's after every opening and closing was like, those are just like great memories.
It's definitely Beauty and the Beast. At Glacier Peak, it was my first show, and my favorite memory was just, there were so many in that show alone. So yeah, that was
My favorite memory was when Kaylee Bell fell asleep during rehearsal.
My favorite theater memory was earlier today when I beat Stephen Ortiz of Just Dance. It's pretty good.
Memory from theater was part of Beauty and the Beast. Actually, we did a cuddle puddle on a couch one day, and it's just like always been something that I've thought about and loved.
Favorite memory in theater is last year during Wizard of Oz, Abby Price cut off a piece of her hair before every single show, and I just thought that was really funny. So.
Favorite memory was from Wizard of Oz, when during auditions, because Connor Barrett's the best man I've ever met, and he was funny. Yeah.
My favorite memory is when I smacked Aiden's butt.
Favorite memory for theater is when I got my first rose during Tarzan. My favorite memory from the show has just been being in the costumes area with all of the like little tiny freshmen, sophomores, and bonding with the little tiny freshmen, sophomores. They're the star. In fact, all freshmen, sophomores, the star.
Go. Okay, you can go.
Go where? Like, go, like, leave?
No, let's talk.
Oh,
go.
What did I say?
Just go.
My name is Cody. This is all.
Part of it, and
Take two.
I'm kind of crazy hair right now.
Hi, I'm Monty Haspel. I've been a part of theater for...
You're not a senior!
And neither am I, so...